Hello and welcome back to the Old Realms, and in the last episode we took on Brass Keep and got 5 levels. Yes, so we're actually almost level 30, which is indeed exactly where we want to be to max out the career tree to our liking. So otherwise what we're going to do is we're just going to put a couple of extra focus points in engineering right now. We're going to put another in leadership. I'm kind of wondering what else we should really do, because there isn't really much more. I guess pole arms, I suppose. I guess pole arms to a certain degree. Maybe some charm skill. Faith skill could be kind of decent as well, because we do have 9 in discipline after all, but I don't really see anything here that is super powerful for us. The only thing that I really wanted to get was just to get a little bit of extra hit points through the use of Devotee, and we already have that, of course. I guess trade skill could be kind of good, but yeah, it doesn't really matter anyway, because we've already spent them. Yeah, I didn't even realize. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one more point in discipline. We're basically just going to get that maxed out as much as possible, and then I think I'll probably just put a point into intelligence. And then we're going to go over to our career tree here, because obviously what we want to do is we want to try and see if there's something else that we really want to max out. I'm thinking probably this. This is probably going to be really, really useful for us. But, yeah, it's a little bit difficult, isn't it? Yes, it's a little bit difficult. I think this is pretty good because that scales really, really nicely with leadership. And now our ability scales with leadership. Now, you may see, I'm actually right outside Blood Keep because I thought to myself, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to go in here and we're going to see if I can actually do Blood Keep now, because we know that Brass Keep is doable. But Blood Keep is a completely different beast, because you have Blood Dragon Knights and Blood Dragon Templars. And these guys, they do not mess around. These guys are very, very difficult to deal with. And I'm a little bit worried about it, actually. I don't think... you know what? This is exactly the reason why I wanted to try this out, because I personally don't think I'm going to be able to even succeed in eliminating 500 of them, let alone 2,000. Alright, so we're in the siege, and I'm currently being pushed on my horse by some of my own people, which is not exactly great. Anyway, what we're going to do is the standard. I'm basically just going to leave my forces back here, and I want to see whether my fireball can actually do something, because I'm kind of intrigued to see whether it actually does do something relatively decent here. I mean, I'm able to kill these guys relatively simply with 200 damage, 210 damage in actual fact. Now, the thing is, that was only 68. Just bear that in mind, that's only 68. Huh. Yeah, this is going to be much more difficult in my opinion. This is going to be much more difficult than than Brass Keep, because if I can only kill 60 of them every single time, it is going to take a long time, but also I'm not entirely sure if we're even going to have the ability to do much more. So let's actually just see. Nice, okay. Bear in mind that getting to level 30 is also pretty cool, you know, that's a nice thing for us to do. Gonna use Cinder Blast here. Nice. Gonna use Magic Bolt. There we go. Gonna use my special ability. Gonna use my Fireball again. Nice. I'm just tearing through them right now. That's all I'm trying to do. Just trying to tear through them as fast as I possibly can, using every single spell at my disposal. And there we have it. Nice. Okay, now I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen if I go up here. Because I'm going to assume, yeah, there's a huge amount of enemies over in that direction. So if I can get over there, we might be able to destroy them from this angle instead of the other one. Oh, hello there. Thankfully, I've got some pretty decent athletic skill, so I should be able to run away from these guys without too many issues. Because, let's face it, I do not want to stick around. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to... this is a bit uncomfortable, because I don't really want to go down here and get murdered, because as you can quite clearly tell, I think they're pretty much hungry for my blood at this point. If you'll pardon the pun, because they are indeed vampires, I guess. Blood Knights, right? So, you know. That would be quite funny, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's just kill that guy while we have the opportunity, and let's just see what I can do here. I've got to be a little bit careful because I don't want to get... Yeah, as you see, obviously there's... Okay, so there's a huge amount of enemies just below us, but how do I get there? That's the question. Ah, there we go. All right, this is perfect. Look at this. Boom. Okay, now that positioning was fantastic. That literally has to be one of the best positions I have ever had. Wow. It was almost as though we were just dropping in on them like some kind of pile driver, absolutely murdering. So incredibly nicely right there. Okay, now if I can do that again, let's actually just speed this up a little bit and see where these guys go. Because they don't actually have ranged troops, as far as I'm aware. And that is indeed, once again, the reason why I personally believe we are capable of doing these kinds of sieges. Because this is the funny thing. Think about it this way, right? Look at me right now, okay? I am completely and utterly alone. I am a glass cannon. I would very easily and very quickly be killed if they had any form of range whatsoever. Like, for example, these Blood Knights right here. Look at them. They have no ranged. No thrown weapons, no nothing. I would not be able to do this in Brass Keep, for example. Because Brass Keep, if you get too close, you're going to get absolutely murdered by their thrown weapons. And it's the same thing with basically every other siege that you're going to have in the Old Realms. Every single faction has ranged troops that are capable of some significant damage output. And you try doing that with this kind of character, it's never going to work. It's just never going to work. You've seen that multiple times. Oh, look at this. I actually am finally getting attacked. And you can see here that immediately I'm already down to 80% HP. And that just says everything you need to know. Because now they're starting to spawn some ranged troops in here. And there's even a guy right here. Okay, yeah, this is not good. And I'm dead. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, you see? Because obviously, as you might have seen in the previous episode, we were absolutely destroying. You know, we were doing an insane amount of damage. But unfortunately, this is exactly the result when an opponent has any form of range whatsoever. They always have the ability to eliminate us at any point. It is just a case of them having the ability to do so and not being restricted to ranged troops. And I'm going to have to retreat. I am literally going to have to retreat here. There is nothing I can do. There is no way I am going to be able to go in there with my troops. I'm not going to have 118 people fight against 838, especially when 838 of those, or should we say not 838 of those, especially when about 250, 260 of those are Blood Knights. That is never going to happen. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to wait until I am ready to go in again, and then we're just going to do that. Unfortunately, as you could see, we are being attacked by these Beastmen Raiders. I actually don't know why these guys want to attack me, but this is actually pretty good, because look at my HP right now. My HP just got regenerated thanks to preventive medicine. This is another thing that I feel is very much underrated. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not underrated at all, and maybe I just think maybe I just think it's underrated. I don't know. But there are many, many reasons why preventive medicine is one of the best perks in the entire game, and you've just seen a reason why that might be. Anyway, what we're going to do is, I'm now at 40%, so I might as well go in, right? Yeah, might as well go in straight away. I mean, technically, I could spend some career points if I wanted to, and I could try to gain a little bit of extra value out of that, but for me, I personally don't really care, because it doesn't really do much. That's the funny thing, it doesn't really do much. I'm going to use Petty Heal right now, try to restore some of my HP. It doesn't really heal me for a huge amount, unfortunately, but it's a heal, you know? It's a heal, and I think that's decent enough, you know? As long as it's doing something, that's all I really care about. because otherwise I'm not going to have any kind of healing, which is somewhat bad in itself. But, you know, that's just how it goes. And that's the funny thing. That's the reason why I personally believe that the Warrior Priest is still extremely strong. Because you take the Warrior Priest... Oh, no. You take the Warrior Priest... This is bad. Yeah, I'm doing some damage to my own people, including some wizards. Oh, that was bad. Alright. I'm not entirely sure what these guys are doing here. Huh. Okay. Nice. Whew. That was a nice shot right there, because we basically just avoided attacking some of my own people very, very narrowly. That was great. Okay, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Okay. So, yeah, now we have this issue, right? Now we have this issue, and I'm actually thinking that we may not even be able to do this, because look at these guys. They're coming out of here right now, and they are very prepared. They are super prepared to do whatever it takes to defend their castle. And the funny thing is, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And this is kind of what I wanted to mention, because spells, they're very strong. But this is the reason why I personally don't believe that they're overpowered in any way, because they only work in certain scenarios. And you've seen them. I mean, obviously, Brass Keep, that's an outlier, you know? That is a pure and simple outlier right there. There is no reason to believe that that kind of strategy would work anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work in a normal siege, because normal sieges have ranged troops. Normal sieges have all kinds of other problems. And look at what we've got going on here. Look at this. I'm going to have to use my little petty heal right here, and this is not really going to do anything for me, unfortunately. I mean, I'm doing pretty decently right here, but look at this. These guys are just Sylvanian Rangers. Look at that. Sylvanian Rangers, right? These fellows are absolutely terrible. These are some of the worst ranged troops that you can get in the game. But they are still able to murder me because of my glass cannon nature. It's extremely difficult to actually make that work. So there you go. That's Blood Keep. So I kind of thought, hey, that seems like a pretty nice little test, and it kind of shows you that indeed, as I said, as I said in the comments, generally, I would say that spells are not overpowered. I would say that they're very strong, and they can be extremely, extremely strong in certain situations. But then you have situations like this that I just showed you just now that are completely out of your control. There is nothing that I could do in those situations. You know, what am I supposed to do? Just stand outside and lob a fireball at 30 people? I'm going to be here forever, you know? It's basically going to take me 2 days to take this thing. To get 2 days of in real lifetime, that is. And that's not acceptable. You know, that's not an acceptable, overpowered, sort of thing to expect. And that's the reason why I say, I think that in general, everything is actually really well balanced, in my opinion, because when you get to a certain point, every single hero class that you can choose, I'm talking about Warrior Priest, Way Watcher, what's the other one? The one that I played initially, the one that can summon treants and stuff like that. Basically, the Wood Elf caster. I can't remember the name of it now, but that. What else do we have? Bright Wizard, obviously. The vampires. I still think the vampires are extremely, extremely strong. I think they're probably the strongest in the Old Realms, mostly because of the companions, because the companions have the ability to kill troops, kill enemy troops from a significant distance away. They don't even need to be close. It's a very, very different situation when you're playing as the Bright Wizard, because you've seen here, look at these guys. Look at the guys that we're currently fighting with. They are not really that effective. And I gotta say, I'm actually a little bit disappointed by that. But yeah, there's not really much else for me to do, you know? I can't really, I can't really go to vampire territory and be like, oh yes, I will recruit some vampires. I mean, I could, you know, there's nothing stopping me from doing that, but, you know, it's not thematic, and that doesn't really make sense, so I don't really like to do that. But the fact is, that is, in my opinion, the reason why I would say that the vampires are the strongest faction, and they probably are the most difficult to deal with for any other faction, including other vampire factions. You know, with that, which is actually kind of incredible to think that, to be honest. Anyway, oh, look at that nice long-range shot right there. That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so obviously this is another case of, well, you know, we just have bigger boom. You know, that's what's going on here. We have a bigger boom, and so we are able to do more damage. And that's basically what it comes down to. But in the grand scheme of things, if these guys had any ranged troops at all, I mean, I think they probably do, but maybe I've killed most of them. I don't know, but if they had any ranged troops that were capable of hitting me, I would be dead instantly, you know? That's the funny thing. I would be dead instantly. That's just how things work. And that's the reason why having a character like this that is a glass cannon, it kind of, you know, it kind of puts things into perspective, because in the grand scheme of things, when you think to yourself, oh yeah, you know, I can eliminate over 2,000 opponents in, you know, Brass Keep, for example. You know, we went to Brass Keep. I completely slaughtered everyone in there. But you saw the way I did it, right? I was playing like a chicken, you know? I was playing like a chicken. I was playing like, you know, very, very cheap strategy. Basically just standing outside and waiting for my Winds of Magic to recover. And, you know, that's it. But if you want to play straight up and you want to go into battle, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do that same thing unless you change your class, unless you're playing something different, and so on. And so that's the reason why, in general, I was playing like that. And I kind of hoped that maybe that would be conveyed to a certain degree to you and to people seeing that particular performance, because, as I say, in every single series, I usually like to attack Brass Keep as a measure, shall we say, a measure of what class is capable of doing it. Because I think we, the Bretonnian Knight had issues doing that. I don't think we even succeeded in capturing Brass Keep as the Bretonnian Knight, because we just didn't have the AoE. We just didn't have the AoE, potential. Obviously, I could recruit a handful of vampires, and we could do some pretty good damage with them, but obviously that's just relying on companions. And if you have to rely on companions, you may have already lost in that case. There are many, many cases where you just go, yeah, companions, if you have to rely on them, it's a bit sad. You know, it's a bit sad. Not because it's not doable, but just because the AI can be very unreliable at times. And there are some situations where you just kind of go, oh, wow. In my first try, I killed, my companions killed 500 of those guys. And then in my second try of that same exact siege or that same exact battle, they killed 2. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. That's the experience that I have had with that I've had with companions, and it's very, very sad, to be honest, to actually see that. But it happens. Anyway, we had a huge amount, by the way, a huge amount of prestige, so much prestige, in fact, that I was able to level up a significant amount of my troops without running out of prestige from the Brass Keep siege. It was extremely, extremely nice. We had over 1,600 or something like that, and I could level up every single person that I had eligible for one in my army. which was really nice. It was such a nice change from having what we had before, which is, we're just, starving for prestige and everything. So, yeah, but yeah, as I say, basically every single class that I've played so far has been capable of taking Brass Keep, with the exception of the Bretonnian Knight, more specifically the Museon Knight, because that thing didn't have any AoEs, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I think it probably would have been capable of doing it in the later stages of the series, maybe, because I was then able to cleave through opponents, and I could potentially take it at that point, but it would take me a long time. Yes, it would take me a long time to do that, much longer than we take on any kind of AoE class. And the funny thing is, even the warrior priest has the ability to AoE, which is really quite staggering, to be honest. And I think that in general, if you're going to play the Old Realms, you really do have to have something in mind for an AoE solution. If you can have a class that has a number of different ways of dealing with opponents, you are going to have a great time. You're going to have an absolutely wonderful time, and you will enjoy every single moment. Because if you can handle all situations with decent skill and decent proficiency, that's it. You're good, you're golden, basically. You don't have to worry about it at all. But if you are specialized in one or the other things, for example, I think the Way Watcher is probably pretty good in that regard, because the Way Watcher is very good at single target, but it is also very good at killing multiple enemies, because it does have its AoE ability. But it's another one of those that is a little bit determined by a number of other stipulations. Like you have to make sure you hit with your ranged attack, because if you don't hit with your ranged attack, you're not going to charge your skill, and that's going to be extremely sad, because then you're just going to be standing there and you're going to be like, oh, I've not done any damage this particular battle, and it's going to be very, very sad, and you're going to be very lonely there, and it's not going to be a great time. Not going to be a great time at all. But, once you do get a little bit more skill, because let's face it, when you first start off as a Way Watcher, you've got no skill whatsoever in terms of your archery, and you're going to have to, get a good bow. Once you get a good bow, everything is going to get so much better. It is extremely fun to play that character. Very, very fun indeed. Anyway, yeah, ooh. We got this. I'm going to wear this. Even though it's not for me, I'm going to take it. Why not? Sounds pretty fun to me. There we go. Am I actually still riding a saddle horse, by the way? No, I have an Empire Charger. Okay, I'm not sure why I thought I was riding a saddle horse, but anyway, there you go. That is going to be it for this episode. We were, as I say, unable to take Blood Keep. I think we probably could take it if I was just a little bit more... shall we say, not really caring about efficiency as much, because let's face it, if I am going to be standing there for quite a significant amount of time, I think we could probably take it, but I don't really want to do that, considering I don't really like going, basically going in, retreating, and then going in, and then retreating. I don't really like doing that. And that's probably what I'd have to do, because I'm going to get shot and I'm going to get killed, and then I'm going to have to regenerate, and then I'll have to go in again. And so those kinds of situations I feel are just not worth it. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.